In just 15 minutes, I'm gonna show you how to sew these trousers. To sew these pants, you need at least 2 yards of fabric. The bigger your size, the more fabric you will need. I have 8 belt loops here, and they are all cut on the bias of the fabric. 4 pockets for the side seams, 2 of these pieces for the fly extension, and they both have interfacing on the wrong side. 1 of this piece for the fly extension as well, and it's pressed in half like this. I have 4 pieces for the flap of my cargo pocket, and 2 of them have fusible interfacing on the back. These 2 long strips are for the borders of the cargo pocket. These 2 pieces are for the body of the cargo pocket. And then I have 2 pieces for the waistband. On the wrong side of them, there is fusible interfacing, and this is a curved waistband. This is going to give you the optimum fit at the waistline of your trousers. In addition, you need 2-inch elastic for the ankles of your trousers, an 8-inch zipper for the fly extension, matching thread for your fabric unless you want to do a contrasting thread, a cute button for the waistband. Since my trousers will have 2 cargo pockets, I am adding matching buttons to the flap of the pockets. An alternative is Velcro. I am using my joggers pattern here, but by the time this video is released, there will be a dedicated pattern for these trousers. And you can get that on my Etsy shop or by joining my Patreon. The links will be in the description box down below. Since these trousers will have pleats, I added an additional 3 inches to the outseam of the front of my pants only. These trousers can be made in 2 ways, with an elastic waistband or with a structured waistband. And in this case, I'm going to be going for a structured waistband. So I'm going to take away 2 inches from the waistline here, and this is going to make it so that I can add my curved waistband at the top. Now this curved waistband is going to go up higher. So I want to make sure that the waistline is not too high for when that's going to be done. But if you are wanting to add an elastic waistband to your trousers, then you can check out the video that's going to pop up on the screen, and you would just leave your fabric there so you'd be able to fold down and stitch. This is going to create a high-waisted effect. Since there is an extra 3 inches on the front waistline, we're going to go ahead and just measure to see how many inches of excess fabric there are. 6 inches, which means that we're going to be measuring 3 inches on both sides of the center mark on the front waistline. And I'm just gonna draw my lines long enough so that I'm then able to just fold my fabric and transfer the mark. And to make things easier, you can go ahead and put a notch at each of these marks. To create the pleats, you want to pinch each of the notches and bring them to the center. These are going to be some pretty big pleats. Measure 2 inches from the top of the waistline and put a mark there. Stitch from here to here and here to here. I'm using the Singer 4423 heavy duty sewing machine. It's amazing for beginners and intermediates. So if you're in the market for a new sewing machine, then you can use my code SewQuaint10 to get a 10% discount on Singer.com. These are the 2 back pieces and these are the 2 front pieces. The pleats are a lot bigger over here and a lot smaller over here. I'm gonna take away the back of the pants so that I can add the fly extension. This is fly piece A. Fold your fabric in half so that the right sides are touching and stitch down here with a 1/4 inch allowance. Trim the excess fabric here and then turn it inside out. Now that it's like this, you can just give this a press. This is fly piece A and it's already done. And then you're gonna take fly piece B and put the 2 pieces right sides together like this and sew around with a 1/2 inch allowance. Clip into the edges of your fabric like this. Then turn it inside out. Now you have this nice curve and you're gonna just give this a press. An optional step is to finish here with your serger, just like you did on this piece. Finish the raw edge of this part with your serger. You're gonna take your zipper and you're gonna put it right sides facing up on top of fly piece A. The side that you finish with the serger or your raw edge, if you didn't, is gonna be over here. So that's gonna be on this side, and you're gonna stitch the zipper to the fabric. Take this side of your trousers and put the zipper and fly piece A on it like this, and you're gonna stitch on top of the stitches that you just made. This is optional, but you can top stitch your zipper right here so that you can end up with a finish like this. Now it's really important that you stop stitching at this spot right here. I'm gonna go ahead and clip the fabric that's right beneath it, and I'm doing this so that I'd be able to stitch when I'm putting it together with the other side. Take this side of your pants and put this right here, and you're gonna stitch them together. Take your scissors, cut underneath here, just about 1/4 of an inch. You're gonna take this piece, fold it over to the wrong side like this, and pin it to the fabric. Now take this and put it on top of this so that your stitches over here are covered. What I did was to move my pins to the back of my fabric so that I am only pinning these two pieces, that being the curved piece and the zipper. If you open your zipper out, you'll notice that you have better access and you can just stitch along here. Now this is what it's looking like so far, but we have to stitch these parts together. So to do that, you're just gonna fold your fabric right sides together. You're gonna sew from here all the way up to here with a 1/2 inch allowance. Now to finish the fur extension, we're gonna stitch on the curved piece from up here down to here. So something that could help is to just draw a line along the curvature of it, and that line can be your guide. Shift this away, and on the right side of your fabric, you're gonna sew along the edges of this curve. But when you get here, you're gonna bring it back and you're gonna keep stitching until you get to this point. And when you get to this point, you wanna stitch a few extra times. Finish these raw edges using your serger, and finish the raw edges of your side seam pockets. You're gonna measure 1 inch down from the top of your fabric on each side. Put your side seam pockets there and stitch with a 1/2 inch allowance. Turn the pockets out and top stitch them. Take the two back pieces, put them right sides together, and sew along here with a 1/2 inch allowance. You can finish the raw edge with your serger and the out seams as well. In the same way, you're gonna put your pockets 1 inch away from the top and sew with a 1/2 inch allowance. Top stitching makes the pockets look even better. And now we put the front right sides together with it. You're gonna sew from here 1.5 inches down. Then you're gonna sew 1/2 inch from the edge of this pocket down here. Then you're gonna sew around the curvature of the pocket. We're gonna prepare some belt loops. In order to do this, you're gonna take each of these pieces and you're gonna fold them like this towards the center, and fold them again and press it flat. Sew along the two sides here to get this. Take your strap and with the right side facing down, put one here, one here, one here, one here, here, and here. So that is a total of 7 belt loops, 1 on each of the pleats, 1 on the side seams, and 1 on the center back. Stitch these in place. Put the 2 waistband pieces right sides together. Sew along the top with a 1/2 inch allowance. Open it out like this and top stitch your allowance to this side or this side, whichever side works for you. The side that has the stitches will become the wrong side of the waistband, and you want to go ahead and give this a nice press so that it will lay flat. And then from this end, you're going to trim away 1/4 of an inch. And put a notch here to mark the center. This is going to be very important when we're placing the waistband on the pants. On the wrong side of your waistband, fold the fabric up by 1/2 inch and press it flat. And now you can pin your waistband to the waistline. Stitch the waistband to the waistline of the pants with a 1/2 inch allowance. Fold the ends of your waistband like this so that you can turn it over like this. It's important that you pin the waistband down so that you can turn it over and stitch in the ditch. And to do this, you're going to sew in this space that joins the waistband to the rest of the trousers. You're going to find that your stitches end up right here at the back of your waistband. At this point, you're going to stitch your belt loops down. Take each of them, cut away the excess fabric, fold it by 1/4 inch, place it at the top of the waistband here, and top stitch. You can find an in-depth sewing tutorial where I show you how to sew a buttonhole and buttons. On the screen, you'll find a link to a video where I show you in-depth how to sew buttonholes and buttons. You're gonna add a buttonhole to this piece of fabric, and you're gonna add a button to the piece of fabric at the back. Your buttonhole goes here and your button goes here. To sew the cargo pockets, you're first going to install a pleat. And if you want an in-depth tutorial on this, you can check the video that's gonna pop up on the screen. You're gonna take this piece and you're gonna stitch it around here. Open it out like this. Fold the top of the pocket twice by 1/4 inch and sew it down. Turn it over. Fold the seams, press them flat, and then stitch them. Finish the raw edges with your serger. Then, to create the flap, take these 2 pieces, put them right sides together, and sew with a 1/2 inch allowance, leaving one end open. Turn it inside out, press it flat, and top stitch. Of course, you can cut and sew more pockets if you would like to, but I just wanted to use 2 pockets only. I like to put my pockets on the side seam of my trousers. I like to measure about 10 inches down from my side seam pocket and make a mark. Then that's where I put the flap of my pocket. I'm putting the majority of the flap towards the front of the trousers. I'm gonna pin this down and stitch from here to here. Then I'm gonna take the body of the pocket and I'm gonna put it right below the flap. And once I've got the desired placement for this, I'll just stitch around it. For my other cargo pocket, I put it 6 inches below the side seam pocket, so it's slightly higher. I also went ahead and added buttons and buttonholes. Now we're going to sew the inseam of the pants. In order to do this, you're gonna match the center front and the center back seams, and then stitch from one hem to the next. Finish it with your serger, of course. And then we move on to the ankles. Finish these with your serger as well. Fold both of the hems by 2 1/4 inches and then stitch here. However, you want to make sure that you leave a space where you'll be able to pass the elastic through. Take some elastic that is 2 inches thick and measure a length that feels comfortable around your ankle. Then you're going to put a safety pin on it, and then you're going to feed the elastic through the space that you left. I find that this is a much more effective way to install elastic into the hems because it's a much smaller space. If you would like an in-depth tutorial on how to install elastic waistbands and elastic hems, you can check out the video that's going to pop up on the screen. Now this is where you put the 2 ends of the elastic together and stitch. And with the space that's left, stretch your elastic out like this and stitch it closed. If you watched all the way to the end, I want you to comment, "I can't wait to make these pants," down below. See you in the next one.